And you can see here, look, zero capacitor. Zero capacitor. I do not care at all. I do not care at all. It does not matter. Hello everybody, my name is Aceface. So have any one of you guys maybe wanted to do the higher tier abyssal filaments like T4, T5, and you've been like always like, I'm a bit too scared. Oh, what if I lose my ship? Well, I've got you. But then again, maybe I'm an alpha clone. I can't do T4 Abyss. That's too hard for me. No. Look here, I've got something for you. This is a alpha clone friendly, basically zero brain activity required Gila fit to do T4s. It's almost completely impossible to die in a T4 exotic, even as an alpha clone. And I say this myself because I used this fit before when I was an alpha clone to do T4 exotics, specifically T4 exotics. So the concept behind this fit is that it has a really high passive shield recharge. So no damage modules in the lows. It has 392 HP per second, and it doesn't have any modules that provide resistance bonuses, because the thing is, in the Abyss, you have neuters, and I like to go active tanked fits, and actually that is a lot better than this. Will run Abyss a lot faster doing active tanked fits. The thing is, I know a lot of people, myself included, especially when I started doing abyssal running, I was like, oh, I'm worried about newts. I don't want to go active tank. What if they newt me out? Neuters are not a big problem for active tank ships. I'm just telling you this from my experience, but I can understand that it is very daunting to go up against neuters in the Abyss when you go on active tank ships. So this is a newt-proof Gila. It doesn't matter how much neuting pressure you get. You'll still have just the same amount of HP per second, because nothing you have uses capacitor. The missiles don't use capacitor, the drones don't use capacitor, and the shield modules do not use capacitor. Everything is independent of capacitor. So I could have minus 100 here gigajoule per second. It doesn't care. We'll still just go forward. So the only downside to this fit is that it is like slow. It doesn't run the sights that fast. That's why I always recommend going active tank ships, because then you're able to use a lot of drone damage amplifiers, get high DPS, run the sights fast. But this will run T4 exotics just fine. You'll have plenty of time. I finished this maybe like 15, 13, 14 minutes, something like that. So you have a lot of time to spare. And it just never dies. It has so much tank. I used to run this back in the day. This was the first ever fit I took into T4 Abyss, and it just was bulletproof. You could just take it through the Abyss and just chug away at enemies and just kill stuff. And I got actually a bit inspired by this, because I got reminded about this because I'm subscribed to an Evil Line YouTuber called DeLone Wolf, and he actually does a lot of exploration videos. And I actually saw that he made a fully passive tank Gila fit, similar to this one, where it's just like he called it the turtle Gila, that it just has so much passive recharge. And then I just remembered, oh yeah, wait, I actually used something very similar in my Abyss running. So this is for you. This is something that alpha clones can use. Make sure that you have good alpha clone skills. Don't have like level 1 skills. So it's not like bulletproof in that regard, but if you have decent alpha clone skills, especially if you're a mega, this will handle T4 exotics no problem. You can face tank anything. You can go and just you can travel directly into a battleship, and it doesn't matter. You will still survive because you've got so much HP per second. It doesn't matter how many starving Vedmax, starving Leshaks, they're all going to work so smoothly because you don't need to use any capacitor at all. It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect your tank in any way. And that's exactly what we're going to do right now. We're going to go into the T4 Exotic Abyss. So the reason I go for Exotic Abyss is because Exotic Abyss, I remember being recommended this fit by a guy a long time ago, or a similar type of fit. And the thing is, I was like, why do I have to have Exotic Abyss? Well, why not, like, I don't know, Firestorm? The filaments are much cheaper, right? The thing is, Exotic Abyss has reduced kinetic resistance of anything, including ourselves, including the enemies. So this means the Gila gets bonuses to thermal and kinetic missiles. So that's why we've got the kinetic missiles here. The drones, it doesn't matter. We can use the Vespas. They do kinetic damage. And it'll be favorable to us because we're doing kinetic damage, so we'll be actually applying the most amount of DPS to the enemy ships because they've got reduced kinetic resistance. So then you'll say, okay, why not Firestorm? The thing is, you can have Inferno missiles as well, because the Gila has bonuses to thermal missiles as well. The thing is, in thermals, the enemy ships have increased armor HP, and this is bad because it'll take a longer time to kill them. If they got more armor HP, then it'll take longer time. So we don't want that. We want to run the sites fast. That's why it's important to do the exotics. You can do the thermals, but I think you could possibly die to time if you are against a very armor intense wave. So this fit does not involve taking these extraction nodes. This is why it's also not as efficient as doing the other types of abyss sites with like where you go and grab the nodes. So what you do is you just go here and approach the bioadaptive cache just like this. That's all you do. You go very slow, obviously, so it's going to take a bit of time, but you just chug away. And it doesn't matter. Look, we're losing your shields, it's just going to go back up, and the highest recharge is in 25%. So don't worry if you go to 50%. When it's 25%, then you have the highest amount of recharge. So then you just go away, just go crazy on these guys, just keep shooting them. Doesn't matter. Preferably go for the webifiers. The webifiers, you want to take them out first because they'll make you approach slower. So it could be maybe that you kill off everything, and because you're webified, it takes you that you've not even approached the transfer conduit. And we don't go for the nodes. The reason is because we're too slow. We can't. In the active tank ships, or ships that have very fast speeds, or that have that clear the sites very quickly, that they have enough time to use an MTU to pull stuff in, then you would go for the nodes because then you'll get extra loot. But since we're in a like really slow ship and it's also not going to kill the stuff quite quickly, then we're going to just go for the bioadaptive caches. This is where the majority of the loot is in, but you will be getting a bit less ISK. So usually I say that you earn about 150 mil an hour doing T4s efficiently. But the thing is, with this, I would say you earn about half of that, maybe 80 mil an hour, because this is like, you're not getting as much out of the filaments, and also you'll be like, each filament, you're not getting out as much potential ISK as you would if you were to go for the nodes, and also you are not doing them as fast as in something with a full damaged low slots. But this is still very good ISK for someone who wants to just, or some alpha clone, who wants to get a bit of income, and they can't be bothered with missions. They want to do maybe something else to get activity, or they can't be bothered with like waiting for incursion fleets. So they want to do something that they can do by themselves, and this is a very good activity in my opinion. This is very like consistent income. This is one of the really good things with Abyss running, is that it's always consistent, like, or not consistent, but what I'm saying is compared to, for example, exploration, then it's a lot more consistent, because in exploration you can sometimes go these very like long times while you explore and you don't have anything that you get. You just keeps on going forever and ever and ever. I'm scanning this anomaly, I'm scanning this signature, and I just know, oh, it's nothing, it's just a Sancha hideout or something like that. It's nothing, or desolate site or something. It's nothing good until you get that finally 4 out of 10 D-day site, but then it's maybe gone many hours. Here, this is something you can always guarantee that you will get an ISK, and that's something I would say is pretty good. So I would say on average 80 mil an hour from doing this. So I've got here Ephialtises. These guys, no issue at all. Like everything here is no issue. You just go straight into them. And I'll go for the confusers. The reason is because confusers make me weapon disrupted. They make my missiles apply a bit worse damage. So that's why I'm going to go for them first. I've not got any webifiers. I don't even care about these dissipators. They can nuke me all they want. Look here, they're nuking me. Got 4 guys nuking me. I do not care. It doesn't matter. The Giga-tank Gila does not care at all. It just goes straight through. And if there was a webifier, then I would go for those first, because they would make me a lot slower. And actually, you want to focus your drones. I'm splitting them because I'm used to splitting them. Splitting them can be good because you reduce travel time. So if you split the drones, you'll not have to travel as much between switching the targets. The only thing is, the remote reps, I don't even think Ephialtises have remote reps, so maybe it doesn't matter. But the thing is, it will you're killing them not so fast, so it really, you don't have to split them. It doesn't really matter. Just focus on one target. And you can see here, look, 0 capacitor, 0 capacitor. I do not care at all. I do not care at all. It does not matter because we do not have anything that requires capacitor. Our missiles don't need capacitor, our tank does not need capacitor, and our Vespas do not need capacitor. So this is obviously a very boring kind of fit, but it is a very bulletproof fit, and it is something that I definitely recommend you guys who are on the fence like me to try the T4 Abyss, because like I told you before, like I was really hesitant to even do T3s. And then I was like, oh, T4 is like out of the question. I'll never do that. I'll do that in a different dimension. I'll never do that in this life. But then I was like, oh, this seems pretty good, because you have so much tank that you can tank anything. You can not be neutered, and you keep doing damage. You'll just do this site a bit slower than the average guy, but you really do not, there's like no room for piloting errors here. You can't go wrong here. There's nothing wrong you can do. It's just a good way to safely farm ISK. And also you can do it as an alpha clone. That's also a good thing, because I myself did it as an alpha clone back in 2018. Let's get this by adaptive cache. You know, when I'm done this site, I'm going to check how much ISK I got from the whole site. Usually you would get about on average from each like full run, maybe like 25 million ISK. So you would maybe run about 4 of these an hour, so maybe you'll get like a gross income of 100 mil. Then it'll cost a bit for the filaments, then maybe about 80 mil like I told you about. Let's grab this. And also, as per usual with the Abyss, there's always that RNG factor. So sometimes you can get a bit less from here, but sometimes you can get crazy good loot drops. You can sometimes get these really good skill books that are really worth a lot, and that can be really satisfying to get. I remember back in the day when I did this as an alpha clone, I would sometimes get this small disintegrator specialization, hundreds and hundreds of millions of ISK just from one little skill book. That was amazing, and that can happen to all of you on top of the consistent 80 mil an hour that you get. So really, I would that for me is another reason why I definitely think you should try this out in the T4 Abyss. Still, our capacitor is still at 0. Still at 0 capacitor. It's like we do not care at all. It's so fun. It's so nice. Also, a good thing is that since we're in the exotic sites, we are going to be using Vespa drones, because Vespa drones do kinetic damage. If we say we were doing a firestorm, this is not meant to do firestorms, but let's just say we were doing firestorms, you have reduced thermal damage, you reduce hammerheads. In the exotics, you have reduced kinetic damage, you use the Vespas. So you would then have the good thing about the Vespas is because they're shield based drones, they got pretty big shields, so you never really have to repair them because they rarely go below 0% shields if you manage your drones correctly. I'm used to doing electrical filaments, and electricals have reduced EM resistance. The drones that do EM damage are infiltrators, and infiltrators are actually armor based drones, and armor based drones have very little shield and a lot of armor. So the shields will die almost straight away if they start taking damage. So often I'll take armor damage as these infiltrators. And the thing is, it's annoying to, I mean, it doesn't really matter, but it's annoying to have to repair your drones. These guys, you never have to repair them because the shields just recharge by themselves. You don't, unfortunately, you do not have any kind of drone repair bay for armor in your ship. Unfortunately, the Gila does not have those capabilities in this little drone bay right here, because it's got a little like a drone bay here. It's pretty cool. And we are almost at, we're like 9 minutes almost done with the site, or not the site, but this room, and we'll go on to the last one. I wish I could find some like difficult wave like Charybdis Tyrannus, those typical difficult waves, and just show you how it really does not matter. I'd recommend with Charybdis Tyrannus, just get, if you want to play extra safe, then just move towards Charybdis Tyrannus in an arc and orbit at 500, but honestly, it really does not matter. In Charybdis Tyrannus, just take out the cruisers, because they are the ones who can webify you, and they'll make so that you'll just run the site slower, because you'll be traveling slower and traveling less fast to the grid or the conduit. I know that, I remember back in the day when I used to run this in as an alpha clone, then it would sometimes be those rogue drone waves, and those would get done really fast. That actually, since I'm so slow, like this, let's see here. Let's see if this happens here. I'm so slow, and I'll kill the stuff pretty fast. These guys are very die very easily. That I'll actually not even be at the gate by the time everything's dead. So I'll have to wait for my travel time to actually make its way to the make me get to the origin conduit. So let's split the drones here, because these guys are going to die pretty fast. And actually, I want to shoot my kinetic missiles on these snarecasters. The strike lances have they do kinetic damage. They'll be doing the most damage to me. So this is like the most deadliest rogue drone wave you can say, and you'll see here that it really does not matter. We'll take a bit of shield damage. You'll probably go to 50%, because they do, rogue drones, in fact, they're known to be very easy, but they do actually do a lot of damage if you get close. And just remember that if you get close to rogue drones, they'll do a lot of damage. But the Giga-tank Gila does not care. It does not care at all. It does not give a crap. It just goes straight through and goes for that Triglavian loot right there. Let's split the drone here and put this other one here. And we'll throw one light missile here. I know that if you're an alpha clone and you want to do this, you could go Arbalest, like rapid light missile launchers, but I'd strongly not recommend that. The reason is you'll be doing quite a bit less damage since you won't be able to use Scourge Fury. Scourge Fury is pretty good because it does quite a bit more damage than the standard regular light missiles. Yep, this is what I was talking about. You can see here, we're killing everything before we even have got the loot. The reason I've got this skin here, this hostile takeover skin, is actually because this was the skin I used back in the day when I was actually running these kind of sites in my fully passive tank, Giga-tanked Gila. Let's shoot the strike lance over here. Almost ran out of our light missiles actually. Triglavian Barrier Adaptive. We're going to go on Eveappraisal actually to check the loot drops, because the thing is, the test server has not got everything like correctly assigned to its proper price tag. So many things will be costing only like 100 ISK, and that doesn't give us a good representation of how much ISK we've earned. We've only got 14 mil right now, or 14 mil, or 13 mil worth of stuff, but it'll be a bit more than that when we go on Eveappraisal. Just annihilated everything, and I'm just so slow. Giga-tank Gila is really slow. He's a big boy. He's a fat boy. Let's go here and grab this. Ooh, that was pretty good actually. Chaotic Electrical. Those go for quite a lot. They go for like, I think it's like 16 mil, 70 mil, something like that. So that's just 16, 17 mil, just like that. Straight in one can, just like that. So you can earn quite a bit, especially if you're lucky as well. You'll earn even more than that 80 mil an hour. I'm telling you, that 80 mil an hour, that would be the average, but you could sometimes earn even more than that, and that's really nice actually. Especially for an alpha clone, you'll be earning that injector, that daily alpha injector really quickly, or even that plex actually. In fact, you can probably easily plex your account this way. So we've almost approached this, and we'll take the origin conduit, and in the meantime I'm going to actually check how much this is worth in Eveappraisal. So we got 33 million here, so that's pretty nice, I have to say. 33 million for an alpha clone, just getting ISK like that. And you can do this in the safety of HiSec. Also, a really good thing about this buffer tank Gila, or this like really good passive tank Gila, is that it is basically gank proof, or almost gank proof, because it's got so much, such a big buffer. So you don't really have to worry. I mean, you can obviously get ganked if they have a big enough gank squad, but it's not that expensive that it's really worth gankers times, and also it is just so tanky that it'll probably withstand at least a few tornadoes. So that's it for the alpha clone friendly Idiotproof T4 Abyssal Gila guide or walkthrough and explanation. Hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys later.